94 al numero 78 a Feite Gambo della nuova atletica fanfullo-loggiana, già azzurrina a livello under 20, e poi Alessia Mignotti del gruppo sportivo AST, non l'avevo ricordato in precedenza, Flavia Bianchi a 2.06.94. Appena corso Mignotti al Celle Ligure nel primato personale a 2.06.60. Vedremo come andrà ad impostare la gara. Poi questa può essere anche una gara tattica, perché di fatto sono il confronto diretto per le prime tre posizioni, è tutto in questa serie, essendo una prova unica. Contatti tra le altre cose con Maria Paola Sotgiu, cerca di evitare di mettere piedi all'interno del cordolo, comanda Alessia Brunetti che preferisce fare gara di testa, affiancata dal numero 79 di Alessia Mignotti. Giustamente per cercare di evitare di correre ulteriori rischi si porta al comando, si porta a condurre, quindi Mignotti davanti al numero 72 di Flavia Bianchi e al numero 75 di Alessia Brunetti. Continuano i contatti intanto a centrogruppo con Camilla Biffoli che rischia di cadere ma riesce a restare in piedi. 1.02.41, non si sta comunque viaggiando piano in questa serie grazie al ottimo ritmo imposto prima da Brunetti e poi da Mignotti, mentre si fa largo anche Flavia Bianchi, la più accreditata di tutte a livello di personali, con 2.05.82, un testa a testa anzi 2.05.37 anche Sotgiu come primato personale rilevante. In ogni caso sono Bianchi e Mignotti a condurre ed ecco proprio Sotgiu, l'ho chiamata e arriva al comando, la portacolore della Icnos di Sassari. Sotgiu in prima posizione, Bianchi in seconda, si muove benissimo anche Piazzola per la quercia da O'Conad per la terza e ultima posizione utile per la qualificazione agli assoluti. Cede qualcosa Mignotti, poi Brunetti, poi Gambo e poi Biffoli. Un'azione a tre atlete con Bianchi, Sotgiu e Piazzola, ma risale con grande tenacia Mignotti per un posto ai campionati italiani assoluti. Maria Paola Sotgiu va a vincere davanti a Vianessa Piazzola e a Flavia Bianchi. 2.07.60 per Maria Paola Sotgiu, che quindi va a firmare anche un tempo di buon livello in questo contesto di gara, in una gara che è stata e si è mossa su ritmi di buona lena grazie all'azione di Mignotti e di Brunetti nel primo giro, e poi Sotgiu ha piazzato a metà del controrettilineo l'azione, la progressione decisiva, con Mignotti che ha stretto i denti ma non ha potuto chiudere più avanti del quarto posto. Biffoli quinta, Brunetti sesta, Gambo settima. Questa dovrebbe essere la classifica. Due verdette ancora da esprimere, salto triplo e 800 metri, entrambi in ambito maschile. Negli 800 metri abbiamo avuto altri tre salti oltre 15 metri, senza però migliorare i picchi odierni da parte di D'Amore, sempre terzo, ha saltato 15.10 al quinto turno. Notari è sempre quarto, ha saltato 15.17 al quinto turno. De Angelis è sempre secondo, ha saltato 15.07 al quinto turno, quindi non hanno migliorato i migliori risultati già sin qui refertati. De Angelis 15.48, D'Amore 15.35, Nodari 15.27. Sorriso di Maria Paola Sotgiu, di cui vi certificheremo tra poco.
Three athletes crossed the finish line within 82 hundredths of a second. Only 3 of them were going to the Italian Championships. That gap, 82 hundredths across 5 women, is the entire story of this race. The women's 800 meters at the Italian Challenge Championships in Florence was never going to be a time trial. When the prize is a qualification ticket rather than a clock reading, athletes recalibrate everything: risk tolerance, energy distribution, decision timing. The question from the gun was simple: who would read the moment correctly? The field came in with clear form lines. Flavia Bianchi held the strongest personal best at 2:01.8, making her the paper favorite. Maria Paola Sotgiu, representing Sassari, had shown excellent fitness through the domestic season. Vanessa Piazzolla was a known championship performer, and Alessia Brunetti had a history of fronting races, leading from the front and absorbing the aerobic cost that comes with it. That pattern held from the first stride. Brunetti moved immediately to the rail and took control of the pace. Over 800 meters, leading is a measurable disadvantage in pure energy terms. The athlete at the front breaks air resistance for the entire field. At championship pace, that adds roughly 3 to 5 watts of sustained power output, compared to running second or third in a tightly packed group. Brunetti absorbed that cost willingly. The opening 200 meters passed in approximately 28.4 seconds. Controlled, not slow, but not fast enough to shake anyone loose. What's most surprising about this race isn't who led, it's when the leadership changed, and why. Alessia Minuti made her move inside the first lap. She accelerated past Brunetti and seized the front, not out of aggression, but out of calculation. The middle of the pack had grown physically dangerous. Athletes were trading contact along the inside rail, fighting for position with the urgency that 800-meter racing produces when qualification is the prize. Minuuti's decision was essentially an obstacle avoidance strategy. The front of the race was cleaner than the chaos behind her. At the 400-meter mark, the leading group passed in approximately 62.1 seconds. That pace produces a 2:04 finishing time if held evenly, fast enough to demand a genuine aerobic contribution, slow enough that athletes with strong finishing speed hadn't yet been forced to show their hand. Camilla Biffoli nearly showed something else entirely. Squeezed between runners in the pack, she lost her balance momentarily, a contact incident that could have ended her race. She recovered without breaking stride, which is itself a skill. Maintaining fluid mechanics under sudden external force requires core stability and an almost unconscious ability to rebalance weight distribution mid-step. Biffoli had it. She continued, settled, and waited. Here is the tactical puzzle the backstraight created. Bianchi, the strongest athlete on paper, was sitting patiently in 4th or 5th position. The conventional read was that she was conserving energy for a late kick. That read was correct, and it was also exactly what her rivals were counting on. Everyone in the field knew Bianchi's finishing speed. The question was whether anyone would move early enough to neutralize it, or whether they would all wait, hand her the front at 600 meters, and fail to match her acceleration. Put yourself in Sotgiu's position, entering the back straight. You are 300 meters from the finish. The pace is honest, but not brutal. Bianchi is close enough to respond to anything. If you wait, you are racing Bianchi's best weapon on her terms. If you go now, you spend energy early and risk tying up in the final 100 meters. Most athletes wait. Sotgiu did not. Her acceleration down the back straight covered the transition from 500 to 600 meters in approximately 13.8 seconds, noticeably sharper than the surrounding splits. In one extended surge, she moved from contender to race leader. The field reorganized around that single decision. Bianchi, Piazzolla, and Minuti all had to recalibrate in real time. The unpopular take, Bianchi's personal best of 2:01.8, was always going to be irrelevant in a race like this. Championship 800s do not reward the fastest athlete. They reward the athlete who executes the correct move at the correct moment. Sotgiu understood that. Bianchi, for all her talent, was one step slower in her decision-making at the precise moment it mattered. The final 200 meters became exactly the test of courage the setup promised. Minuti, who had spent energy at the front during the first lap, was now fighting through accumulating lactate. Her mechanics began to show the cost. Slightly reduced stride length, marginally elevated shoulders, the visible signs of a runner deep in oxygen debt. She refused to yield. She continued driving through the pain, which is itself a form of intelligence. Surrendering position in the final straight is rarely recoverable. Sotgiu crossed in 2:07.59. Piazzolla held her form beautifully through the final meters to take second in 2:08.13. Bianchi completed the podium in 2:08.41. 3 tickets to the Italian Championships, distributed to 3 athletes who combined fitness with good decision-making. Minuti finished 4th in 2:08.97. That margin, 56 hundredths of a second separating her from automatic qualification, is the cost of one tactical miscalculation across 2 laps of running. Biffoli recovered from her near fall to finish 5th. Brunetti, who set the race up with her early front running, paid the aerobic debt and finished 6th. What this race teaches about the women's 800 meters is worth holding on to. The athlete with the strongest credentials does not win by default. Every position change in a championship race carries a metabolic price and a tactical signal. Sotgiu's victory was built on patience, followed by perfectly timed aggression. 500 meters of conservation that created the energy reserves for one decisive burst, at the moment her rivals were most committed to waiting. The next time you watch an 800-meter final, track the athletes who are not at the front. Watch their positioning. Watch how close they stay to the leaders without burning matches. The winner, more often than not, is the athlete making the fewest visible moves for the longest period, then making one explosive, well-timed move that the field simply cannot answer. That was Sotgiu in Florence. If you want to understand how championship 800-meter racing separates itself from time trial running at a mechanical and physiological level, subscribe to Sprint Beyond. Every week we break down exactly what you are seeing but might not yet be understanding. Drop your question about this race in the comments. We read everyone.